Today, I'm kickstarting your Syac season with Gold Pride Punks. I gotta say, I love this deck, it's really fun, so I'm gonna share with you guys my current build. Also, I'm in a very comfortable fit today, thanks to today's sponsor, Into the AM. So I've had this hoodie for just about over a week now, and I have to say, this is probably my most comfortable hoodie. Like, whether it be like sitting in front of a camera, making a video, or just going to locals winning a tournament, like I don't have to worry about choosing between comfort and looking sharp. Also, my wife took this hoodie for a test drive as an oversized hoodie until I stole it back. But she did say this is probably the softest hoodie I have. Aside from just this hoodie, of course, Into the AM also have hats, they have joggers, and they also have a ton of t-shirt designs. And one of my favorite being this one. You know, this one reminds me of the TV in the MST.TV, and also the color scheme really matches the theme of the deck that I'm gonna be talking about today. If you're looking for a wardrobe change or just looking to add another piece for your fit for the upcoming season, I'm sure you can find a premium graphic tee that's right for you. Click the link down in the description to get 10% off of these premium made tees. Let's go into the deck list, starting with the Gold Pride lineup, and I'll explain whatever that needs explaining. So Gold Pride Leon, triple, because this card goes into basically any of your extra deck monster from the Xyz, the Synchro, the Fusion. This card has the perfect stat line of being a level 3, a tuner, a quick synchro effect, revive something from the graveyard. It just opens up all your plays and it's your key interactor. And the free special summon going to the Xyz will open up the starting play of the deck. Then we have triple Captain Carry. I think you should be maxing on your 3 so that you can go into Chariot Carry. And Captain Carry switches the trap card. The trap card is just really good. First of all, it's not once per turn, so you get to summon the card and then destroy your opponent. It's really, really good. Plus, you can summon into Leon, and that's why sending cards into the graveyard is also very important, because if you go into Leon, that means you get to revive another card, which means you're plussing really, really hard. Then we have the 1-ups for me. Although I want to play 2 copies of Rollerballer, I can only play 1 because I want to play this as a 40 card deck. But 1 Rollerballer and 1 Nitro Head. Rollerballer just automatically just puts a threat on the board so that your opponent always has to think about this card and how to answer it. So they try to negate this as much as possible, as soon as possible, because it's just really bad when their cards just get absorbed and doesn't get sent to the graveyard. Nitro Head, on the other hand, this card is one of the key cards against the Kashtira matchup. You give them a token that they can't link off, and you can threaten blowing up their own cards. So that is not the easiest thing for them to deal with. But remember, this card is level 8, and this card can facilitate your OTK. So sometimes I do aim to search this card out. Taking the damage is fine because our main boss monster is Psychic and Punisher, and it will take games really, really easily. And the reason why we can set up so quickly is because I'm choosing to play the Ascendant of Thunder. This is a weird card because you pay 3,000 life points to special summon out this card. And yeah, nothing much they can really do about that. So taking the 3,000 damage can really just amp up the damage for Psychic and Punisher. But also this card sets up Baron. So if you go into the Punk lineup with this card, you automatically have a Baron negate. Plus, if you go into Psychic and Punisher through the regular means of the Punk cards, then you automatically get to remove 2 cards off the field, and you threaten lethal with just a 1-hit punch. So that's why this card is just really, really good. Some people opt to go play Fenrir because Fenrir can reload itself, doesn't cost life points, which is fair. I mean, that was also one of the considerations. But for Ascended Thunder, the life point difference opens up all of your Gold Pride monsters. So I think that is my current preferred way to play. I'm playing it very aggressively. Then there's the Punk Engine, doubles Yaman. I want to play 3, but I want to cut it down to 40. This is a fantastic normal summon, but don't expect everything to run through perfectly because people are playing really heavy hand traps thanks to the super heavy Samurai, and we just have to adapt that to the meta. Play double Foxy Tune. I am not playing the Ogre because if I go for the Ogre, I go for the Search and then get hit by a Droll, my turn more or less ends, and preferably, if I have to choose one card to start the Search, it has to be Captain Carry. Captain Carry's Search is more important because that trap card forces a second interaction immediately, and they need to play Ash to deal with all the stuff that we have. They have to deal with the E-Telly, they have to deal with the trap card. It's not the easiest thing. Then there's a couple of 1-ups here. One of the Wagon to search the field spell. Starting with the field spell is really, really good because you're just starting to load your hand with more and more cards. Then there is Shirakusa to do the fusion play, Madam Spider to get one of the trap cards. And I guess from there, we also have the last one up. We also have the Deer Note so that we can revive a level 3 back onto the field and set up Psychic and Punisher. Psychic and Punisher is the boss monster of the deck, which is why I doubled up on it. You'll see that in the extra deck. And hand trap lineup, this is what I have. I'm just going to dump this all out here. One Ghost Ogre because it's searchable from Dragon Drive. And yeah, it's really, really awesome. Triple Ash Blossom, I think this card still warrants play, although it's not very good against Super Heavy Samurai. It's not enough, but there are certain key points which hurts them more and makes the board easier to break. Aside from that, against Branded, it's still a pretty big deck. This card is just still useful enough for me to keep. We play Triple Gamma because there's many ways to just bait your opponent into using an Ash pretty early from E-Telly. They basically won't hit your E-Telly because you always threaten Gamma, but Gamma is also live in this deck because of the extra deck choice of playing Lambda. Some people think that I won't go into Lambda, but usually I go into Lambda first and then I start doing regular Punk combo. They get really awkward because if they eat the Gamma now they're going to eat a Baron for sure. So that's why I play the Gamma, and it's always live afterwards anyway because you pass turn, the Lambda's still on the field, and they don't really get to play their monster effects that effectively. And finally, Triple Drone Lockbird being the last set of cards I'm using in the main deck. This is, I guess, meta call for now. Spell cards, triple, better luck next time. This is the tanky of the deck and lowers your life points, so this is no-brainer. I play one copy of Pedal to the Metal because I'm choosing to play Zeus, and I don't like giving my opponent their Soul Piercer back, which is why I'm choosing this one over the other one. And this allows Captain Carry to just get a free punch in and make Zeus. And then I play triple Emergency Teleport for the Punk engine, and I play one copy of Punk Jam Extreme Session. As for the trap lineup, this is it. 2 Start Your Engines and 1 Jirori Punk, Nashiwari Surprise. Why not choose Gabu? I'd rather destroy a card, and I'm usually leaving up the Dragon Drive on the field anyway, so I get to do the destruction. That's my personal preference. You guys can change it up. I wanted to play 3 Start Your Engines. It's really, really good considering this card is not once per turn. So if you go first and you have multiples of these, you can answer basically 5 monsters with 2 cards and you'll outplus your opponent. That's why. And that's the entire main deck. Let's go into the extra deck. So my extra deck currently is dictated by Cashier still having Diablosis. If a Boundless comes out and Diablosis gets hit, then I can alter the build and take out some of the double up. But for now, starting off with Cypher Lord Lambda, this is my interaction, especially if I open with Gamma, and I have the follow-up combo to go with it. I'm 100% making this just so that it makes my opponent feel like they missed an opportunity to hit me with hand traps. And it's hard because if you play Gamma, the opening play sometimes just becomes a little bit more free. Then we go into the Exceeds. I play one copy of Chariot Carry and play the Zeus package. These two, they're flex spots. You don't actually need to play this, but you can also swap out the Downer Magician for a Dingirzu for another way of removal. But, you know, that's when you're really forced to go into Zeus. But for Chariot Carry, you only need to resolve this once to get value, and this also goes back into the extra deck. So if you want to get a second copy of something and Foolish something else, that's fine. But this is also a Foolish if your life is lower, but it searches for your spells, and Zeus is Zeus, so there's nothing more to add. It's just really good to just Zeus a Cashier board from time to time, and even doing it to a Super Heavy Samurai, totally worth it. Then there is Rising Carp. For the Punk plays, we play 2 Pinballer. This is dictated by, you know, number 89 Diablosis. If they rip one out, I still have access to it. Otherwise, Pinballer becomes, Rollerballer becomes really dead. And finally, this Synchro lineup. Again, for interaction, playing double Star Leon, I would cut one down if I can, but at the moment, I cannot. So we're just going to play Star Leon, because without Star Leon, Leon loses a lot of its interaction during the opponent's turn, and it is a quick play destruction and kind of like a attack gaining Boral Sword. So this is your way to kind of punch through monsters. I play one copy of Punk Jam Dragon Drive. So this is your way to get the not field spell, but Ghost Ogre mainly, but also ways to get Madam Spider. We have double Psychic and Punisher. This one I'll play 2 of regardless if, you know, number 89 was around. This card's just too good. You burn your life so fast that if you put this card and Baron up at the same time, you win the game. It's just that simple, and sometimes you could just win the game because they left just one random monster in attack position. But one thing I want to note to you guys, sometimes it's not worth attacking your opponent because you will start locking out your own cards, and if your opponent outs your board because you did too much damage, then yeah, this could be GG because you don't exactly have the strongest recovery in this deck. So Psychic and Punisher, sometimes you can just keep it on board, just let it boost up. Like, it can stay there. It will stay there if you set it up properly. And then I play one copy of the Yugioh Punk Amazing Dragon. This is one way to kind of clear some of the back row before you go commit for the kill, because you do have a ton of psychic tuners in the graveyard, so it's quite easy to kind of set this one up. You can even do it during your opponent's turn if you use your Gold Pride Leon and you did not lock yourself into Gold Pride. And finally, we play one XL Stardust and one of the Baron. Yeah, that's it, because this one you can go into a 3 and a 7, or you can go into via Gamma and Drivers. That's the deck list. Let's go for a quick combo. Okay, now we're going into the combo. Shoutouts to Pack for developing a combo really early. This is going to be basically a version of that with Tom Box's footnotes added in to kind of just point out particular areas where you can find ways to make Psychic End Punisher and kill your opponent. And that's why these cards in my hand aren't exactly dead cards. They're just different ways for you to extend. So starting off, either you normal or special summon out the Xiamen, which is why like Gamma is so strong, especially when you open with Italy. They just can't really respond to it, or else they might eat into a Gamma and they just basically lose at that point. But from this point, we go for Xiamen Effect. Xiamen Effect is going to pay life. Even if you miss, you pay the life. It enables all your Gold Pride cards, which in this case could just be a complete follow-up, which is still really, really good. And not only that, if you follow with a Leon right away, you can just overlay it and go into Chariot Carry in that particular direction. So we're going to activate the Foxy tune, and we're going to send the driver into the graveyard, and we're going to go into the Shirakusai. Another Ash point. Again, even if you do get Ash, you can continue to play. You can gain your pluses back just by using Chariot Carry. Activate the effect of this, pay more life points. The Shirakusai is going to fusion summon into the Rising Carp. Gamma, again, is another choke point here, where if they hit you with an Ash, it could hurt a lot if it does resolve. But if it doesn't resolve, say you have a Gamma, once again, another point of Gamma interaction right at this particular point. You can activate the effect of Rising Carp and summon out the Deer Note and a Wagon. So now that you have both of these on the field, you just go for the activation of Wagon, pay more life points, and get the Extreme Session. This is why the Psychic End Punisher is ridiculously powerful and finds many ways to one-shot your opponent. And you can activate this right away when you get the chance, so that all your Psychic effects that pay life points, you get to draw cards on them at least twice per turn, or total of twice per turn. Synchro these two off and go into the Dragon Drive. Chainlink 1, Dragon Drive. Chainlink 2, we're going to go for Deer Note. Deer Note's going to summon back the Xiamen. You haven't used the effect yet, so you might be able to find an opportunity to chain block. Dragon Drive is going to add the Madam Spider or Ghost Ogre if you already have it. And that's going to activate the Extreme Session. We're going to draw a card from the Extreme Session. Let's get a different card from Captain Carry, because that changes our entire line. Sure, let's go with the Start Your Engines. That's fine too. Then we have the Madam Spider already here. So that's one draw from this card. So from here, you can immediately just use these two monsters, synchro them into Psychic End Punisher. You probably have enough life lost so that the End Punisher isn't going to be affected by your opponent's card effects. But if you want to drop even more life points, this is where Ascended Thunder comes in. Or you could have started with the Ascended Thunder and then start dropping Gold Pride before you even start with the Punk monster. That's also a way you can start. And the Ascended Thunder plus a tuner automatically makes Baron, and that's just, well, that's kind of just GG. That's like super safe comboing. So from this point, you activate the other effect of Extreme Session, banish one of your Punk cards, summon out Madam Spider, activate Madam Spider's effect, add the Nashiwari Surprise, activate Extreme Session because you paid more life points, and you get to draw another card. So if you did have Ascended Thunder or you drew into it, you can drop it right here. But probably make Psychic End Punisher first, because if you drop it right here, you can threaten a Baron and they're going to interact, because now you have two ways to pop, which would be Baron and the Psychic End Punisher. If Psychic End Punisher, you know, hits another 1,000 life points, that's 4,000 life points, and everything that you lost, that Psychic End Punisher is going to just one-shot anything that comes in this way, and it's going to be a very difficult monster to remove off the field. So yeah, just beware of burn cards at this point. And that's one way to kind of see it through. But in any case, the reason why I'm playing Nashiwari Surprise is if we go into the regular line, if this is turn 1, we go into a Chariot Carry. And therefore, the Nashiwari Surprise does have a Punk monster, so you can pop a card, which is, I think, a little bit better than just negation at this point. So this part of the combo starts to deviate a little bit. If you already have Leon in your hand, you change up what you send to the graveyard with Captain Carry. So if you activate Captain Carry, and we're going to add the Better Luck next time, you get to send one monster into the graveyard because your life points is lower than your opponent. So normally, if you have nothing, then you would send a Captain Carry and then you would add a Leon. But if you already have Leon in your hand, then you can add Captain Carry to your hand. Instead, you can send a Roller Baller into the graveyard, and that's probably better, because when you activate the Better Luck next time, you can directly add the Captain Carry. All right. And from here, we can just special summon out the Captain Carry. And Captain Carry's effect, we're going to add the trap card. We're just going to keep on loading our hand with more and more cards. And from here, we can special summon out the Leon. This can provide you with the Roller Baller. You could just immediately just synchro these off, right? So if you synchro this off and you just drop a Star Leon onto the field, when you activate the Nitro Head, summon onto the field, Nitro Head should put a token into basically the zone right behind the extra monster zone, so you can blow up like in a cross shape of all those cards around that extra monster zone and hit the monster in the extra monster zone as well. So right now, if you go to the end phase, and before you go into the end phase, make sure you just set a bunch of cards up. Activate Captain Carry. Chariot Carry is not going to go back into the deck, and that's going to summon out your Captain Carry. We're going to choose to summon it out of the graveyard, just so that our Star Your Engines will have enough monsters in the deck to summon multiple times and have multiple chances of hitting the cards that you want. So essentially, you have a ton of disruption. You could perhaps have more hand traps. There's different lines of killing your opponent. You can go for a Baron one-shot, which is also very strong. And leaving Nitro Head means that you can potentially go into the Psychic End Punisher during your opponent's turn, which is also very, very strong. So this is kind of the end board we're aiming for. That's all I got for this video, guys. Try and use this as a starting point for Gold Pride Punk. Experiment with more combos, more techs, and try to readapt to the meta. You know, do a little bit of risk assessment when you perform your combos. And don't forget to check out our sponsor for today's video, Into the AM. And their Essentials hoodie are really comfortable, and their graphic tees can just really reflect and express yourselves. And I really love their stuff. So check it out. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.